Your mind has an immune system, not for viruses, for criticism. And right now, it's probably working overtime to protect you from ideas that threaten who you think you are. Here's what's happening. Someone challenges your belief. Could be politics, religion, science, doesn't matter. Your brain doesn't treat that criticism like information. It treats it like an infection. Your intellectual immune system kicks in, not to evaluate the truth, but to neutralize the threat. This is called epistemic immunity, and it's destroying your ability to know what's real. The mechanism is simple, but vicious. When counter-evidence arrives, your brain does something insane. It doesn't update. It defends. Cognitive dissonance research from the 1950s proved this. Leon Festinger showed that when people face information that contradicts their beliefs, they don't change their minds. They change their perception of reality. They reinterpret. They rationalize. They attack the source, anything to keep the belief alive. Because changing your mind doesn't feel like learning. It feels like dying. But here's where it gets darker. This isn't just about individual psychology. This is structural. This is designed. Philosopher Quassim Cassam calls these epistemic vices: closed-mindedness, dogmatism, willful ignorance. These aren't just bad habits. They're stable character traits that make you systematically resistant to truth, and institutions have learned to weaponize them. Think about climate misinformation. For decades, fossil fuel companies didn't just lie about the science. They built an entire ecosystem to make people immune to correction. Echo chambers that rewarded denial with social status. Authority figures who normalized skepticism of evidence. Algorithms that fed you content confirming what you already believed. CP30 in 2025, world leaders are still grappling with coordinated disinformation networks that have inoculated millions against scientific consensus. Not through better arguments, through better manipulation of your epistemic immune system. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt showed us why this works so well. Most of your moral and political judgments aren't reasoned, they're intuitive. They're emotional. You feel the answer first, then your rational mind reverse engineers justifications. He calls it moral dumbfounding. That moment when you know you believe something, you can't articulate why, but you refuse to change your mind anyway. Your reasoning isn't the dog, it's the tail. And the dog is wagging furiously to protect your identity. Because that's what this is really about, identity protective cognition. Your beliefs aren't just ideas you hold, they're social signals, tribal markers, proof you belong. Changing your mind doesn't just mean admitting you were wrong, it means risking exile from your community. So your brain calculates, unconsciously, is it safer to be correct or to belong? And belonging wins, almost every time. Now here's the part that should terrify you. Not all immunity to criticism is irrational. Sometimes resistance is warranted. Karl Popper built his entire philosophy on the value of criticism, on falsifiability, on open societies that invite correction. But even Popper understood that some criticism is bad faith. Some arguments are designed not to enlighten, but to manipulate. So how do you know? How do you distinguish between epistemic independence and epistemic vice, between healthy skepticism and pathological dogmatism? Here's the test. 3 questions. On screen, right now. Question 1. If this criticism were true, what would change in my life? If the answer is everything, your resistance might be identity protective, not rational. Question 2. Who benefits if I keep believing this? Who loses? If you benefit from the status quo and others suffer, examine your motives. Question 3. What would convince me otherwise? If your answer is nothing, you're not holding a belief, you're performing an identity. Let's make this practical. Step 1. Test for motive. Before you reject criticism, ask yourself, is my resistance about truth or about protecting who I think I am? If changing your belief would threaten your social identity, your rejection is suspect. Step 2. Seek asymmetric evidence. Spend 20 minutes finding the best arguments against your position. Not strawmen, not weak versions. The strongest, most charitable case the other side can make. Summarize it in neutral terms. If you can't, you don't understand it well enough to reject it. Step 3. Socially diversify. Follow one respected thinker you disagree with for a month. Not to hate watch, to learn. Take notes on what changes in your perspective. If nothing changes, you're not engaging. You're immunized. Here's the brutal part. This won't feel good. Dismantling your epistemic immune system means making yourself vulnerable. It means sitting with uncertainty. It means admitting you were wrong, publicly, to people who will judge you for it. It means losing friends who can't tolerate your evolution. But the alternative is worse. The alternative is living in a fortress of delusion, surrounded by people who agree with you, immune to correction, isolated from truth, becoming more certain and more wrong with every passing year. The world is full of people who would rather be comfortable than correct, who would rather belong than grow, who have trained their minds to reject anything that challenges them, not because the challenge is weak, but because their immune system is too strong. Don't be them. Criticism is not an attack, it's an upgrade. Counter-evidence is not a threat, it's a gift. Being wrong is not a failure, it's a prerequisite for being right. So ask yourself, what belief are you protecting right now? What criticism are you immune to? What truth are you too afraid to face? Your mind has an immune system, but maybe it's time to let something in,